Signature moves are a pretty quick and simple way to make certain Pokemon feel more unique. They're sometimes fun, sometimes overpowered, and even define how a Pokemon plays. But the main reason signature moves are so neat is that not everyone has one, making them feel even more special. So I'm giving every Pokemon a signature move so that no one gets to be special now. Ha. But before we start, let's go over some ground rules. First, if a Pokemon has ever had a signature move, have it be via evolution, new evolutions, regional forms, etc., they don't get any. On top of that, if a Pokemon once had a signature move, but had it taken away, they also don't get any. Basically, if a Pokemon is on the Bulbapedia list of Pokemon with signature moves, they don't get a new move. This is my third video on this subject, and this time around, we roll on over to Hoenn and do Gen 3. Seeing that this is the first time that the starters get signature moves, we're skipping them and hopping right to the next Pokemon in the dex, Mightyena. Seeing that Mightyena is, as the name suggests, a hyena, I decided to base the move off of the thing that hyenas are most known for, laughing. They are called laughing hyenas after all. So, Cackle. It's a 70 base power dark type physical move with a chance to paralyze, referencing to being frozen or paralyzed in fear, similarly to how the move Lick has a chance to paralyze despite being ghost type instead of electric. Beautifly is a beautiful butterfly, and as such has a proboscis as a fairly prominent part of its design. Interesting fact about butterflies, having a strictly nectar-based diet, they don't get enough sodium to survive. To solve this, they often land on animals or even swarm corpses to lap up their sweat, blood, and urine, since they have enough sodium that the butterflies need. This is referenced in Beautifly's new move, Lap Up, which is a bug-type status move that lowers the target's defense and heals Beautifly for up to half of their max HP, similarly to how Strength Sap works. Beautifly's counterpart, Dustox, doesn't have as much disturbing lore, so I'll just get straight to the point. It's said that Dustox's wings are covered in a toxic dust or powder. So, the move, Dizzy Powder, is a 40 base power bug-type move with a chance to confuse. It's like the powder has such a pungent smell that makes you go dizzy. Oh wait, he said the move. That's crazy. Also, it's a Route 1 bug. Its signature doesn't need to be overpowered and broken. It's fine the way it is. Ludicolo, my goat, is based on a Kappa. I would have liked to name this move Rain Dish, but since that's already an ability, I decided to go with Moisturize instead. The user draws moisture out of the air to heal himself, and how much they are healed depends on the weather. It's kind of like the exact opposite of Synthesis, healing less in harsh sunlight, but healing more in the rain. I really wanted to give it a dance move, but I wasn't sure what I was going to call it, so Rain Dance fits best, but whoop-de-doo, that's already a move. Dadgum. It also fits with Gen 3's weather theming, so that's pretty neat. Shiftry was actually pretty hard to come up with something. I wanted to have something to do with its Tengu inspirations, but I couldn't really find anything that would work, and instead decided to go with Shadow Strike. It's just a dark type move, and the user disappears and reappears on the next turn. It's dive or fly or what's that move? Phantom Force, but for the dark type. It's easy to make signature moves, clones of other moves, and I'm running out of time to make this video, so I gotta work with what I've got. Ninjask has somewhat of a reputation for being the fastest non-legendary Pokemon there is. On top of that, it has speed boost, and so it has the potential to be even faster than Regi Alecki. So why not play with that a little bit? So Ninjask's new ability, Swarming, is a move that gets stronger and stronger the faster the user is, meaning that for every turn, with speed boost, this move gets a little stronger and stronger until eventually it's fast enough to outspeed everything, and the move is powerful enough to kill everything in its path. Might be a bit overpowered, but I don't care. Ninjask isn't particularly good and competitive, so I don't care. Shedinja is also a pretty infamous Pokemon, though instead of for its speed stat, it's for the HP. Or, I guess, the lack thereof. Shedinja's whole shtick is that it has only 1 HP, but can only be hit by super effective moves or outside effects like Stealth Rocks, Toxic, or Sandstorm. This being said, Destiny Bond and Shedinja go together like peanut butter and jelly, seeing that Shedinja's frailty is a good thing instead of a bad one in this case. So why not make it even better? Soul Link is a move that forces the target to attack the user. If the user faints, the target will faint as well. To balance this out, it can't be spammed, just making you immortal. Swalot is kinda hard, seeing as, just like Pidgeot in the first video, it's kinda just a bird. But at least Pidgeot had some cool hair. This is just a bird. So I guess to pair with the theme of weather and Hoenn, Swalot gets Winter Reset, a move that simply gets rid of any current active weather conditions, with the exception of Primordial Sea and Desolate Land. Eventually I'm gonna run out of things to do with these birds. Now, I could have sworn that Mach Punch was Breloom's signature move for a hot minute, but I guess not. So instead, let's take a look at Breloom for a second. It's a mushroom that likes to punch. Huh. Well, despite the name, I thought that Leech Seed was always more of a mushroom than plant-based effect anyways. I mean, tiny organisms draining out your energy to feed themselves? That sounds much more like some sort of parasitic fungi than plants. So, Punchroom is a punching mushroom pun. It's a grass-type punching move that can have a chance to set up Leech Seed, as if jostling Breloom around has a chance to spread their spores onto the target. Pelipper is fun, because instead of having bad stats, it's actually really good and competitive because of its ability, Drizzle. So why not make a move that actually takes advantage of the rain? It can be a clone rain version of Solar Beam, where it usually takes 2 turns to charge up, but fires instantly in the harsh sunlight. Rain kind of has something like this in Electro Shot, but that's another signature move. And besides, I have a better idea for this one. Liquid Cannon is a 120 base power move that usually takes up to 2 turns to fire. However, if used in the rain, it fires instantly and is boosted up to 160 base power, but absorbs the rainstorm with it. This might be really fun to use as a 1-turn nuke button right when the rain is about to end. I really like those kind of moves, just to keep things interesting. Speaking of nuke buttons, what's a bigger nuke button than just an Oko move, like Sheer Cold, Fissure, Guillotine, and Hordrill? Yeah, they're only 30% accurate, but who doesn't like a little gambling? And for the grand move, I believe that it should go to a grand Pokemon. The grandest, actually, if we go by size, Wailord, the largest Pokemon, not counting Gigantamaxes or Eternamax Eternatus, whose whole gimmick is being really big. And since we're just using the biggest Pokemon, why not take advantage of their large size? Belly Flop is just a water-type Oko move. Why is it called Belly Flop? Well, would you want a blue whale to belly flop right on top of you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Delcatty's whole design is supposed to be support. I mean, it's a cute little kitty, and doesn't look like something that can deal out a lot of damage. On top of that, its ability, Normalize, feels like it's guiding Delcatty to be more support-oriented. And so I wanted to decide to make this signature move feel more like a support move. Comforting Purr is the exact opposite of Belly Drum in every single way. It heals the target for up to a quarter of their max, but drops their attack stat as low as it'll go. It could be used to heal up your allies if they're a special attacker, but I imagine it would be more oriented to crippling your enemies. And I imagine this would be pretty busted, so it would come out with -1 priority. Anytime I see Claydol, I always think of it as this ancient Egyptian artifact. I mean, it almost seems to be that case, and it was made by an ancient civilization in one of its dex entries. And what is the most common tropes in Egyptian movies? The booby-trapped tomb guarding the treasure inside. These booby traps are usually either plumes of fire, walls of arrows, or quicksand. I decided to use the quicksand since it fits the ground type more. This works functionally as a ground type toxic, taking more and more damage over time. For most Pokemon, it would work almost exactly like Toxic, but instead, Quicksand will be able to work on Steel and Poison types, but does not work on ground and rock types. Sableye is one of my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon of all time. Yeah, it has bad stats, but Prankster is really fun to use, and I just like little gremlin Pokemon. Sableye, despite having gemstones for eyes and scatters throughout its body, is actually a ghost and dark type. And those pearly whites aren't just for show either. Lots of Sableye's dex entries mention how it eats gemstones, so I decided to use that for its signature move. Crystal Crunch works just as regular Crunch, except it also deals super effective damage to rock-type Pokemon. Gonna be completely honest, I completely forgot Luvdisc existed until I was done with the script. But that's the entire reason I'm making this video, to give underrated Pokemon a shot in the spotlight. And seeing that Luvdisc is shaped like a heart, has love in the name, and drops heart scales, I decided to go with this move, Fishy Kiss. It's a status move that leaves the target infatuated and heals the user for up to a quarter of their max HP. Now, a dark-type Pokemon that has Torpedo in their name. I really wanted to just give Sharpedo a move similar to Sucker Punch, so Deceptive Swim. It's Water-type Sucker Punch. Happy congratulations. Now, if the leaks are right and Flygon isn't getting a Mega in Legends ZA, first of all, rude. Second of all, I feel like I should give it a pretty good signature move to compensate. So, to fit with the weather theme once again, I decided to give it a move, Sand Lens, which raises the user's accuracy by 3 stages, but fails if isn't used during a sandstorm. This would probably work better as an ability, yeah, but I don't really care. Staying in the desert, Cacturne is one of those Pokemon I saw once and said, oh, that's pretty cool, and never thought of again. However, this move I gave him is pretty cool. See, lots of Cacturne's dex entries mention how it follows travelers through the desert, waiting for them to get exhausted before going in for the kill. Yeah, it's pretty dark, but it's a dark-type Pokemon, what do you expect? So, Exhaustion is a dark-type move that gets stronger and stronger the longer the target has been on the battlefield for. I like to think of it as a kind of anti-sweeper move. I originally thought it could scale with how much health the user has, but I think this would work better. Lunatone and Solrock are just so similar that I decided to let them share a signature move. Lunatone and Solrock are said to be meteorites, and so why not name it after space stuff? So, Cosmic Fling. It's a Psychic-type special move that lowers a random one of the target's stats, including accuracy and evasion. Because just like I said before, who doesn't like a little gambling? Grumpix is pretty simple. It's just a Psychic-type physical move that also scatters money on the ground, with Grumpig being all about pearls before swine, or swine before pearl. I don't remember how it goes. Just like Lunatone and Solrock, Plusle and Minun are obviously meant to be a pair. They're built for double battles with their abilities plus and minus, as well as helping hand all the time. They are cheerleaders after all. So a move like Cheering makes a lot of sense, boosting the attack, special attack, and critical hit ratio of your ally. Medicham is, in my opinion, a pretty underrated Pokemon. It's kind of like a monk, and also is one of the few physical attacking Psychic-type Pokemon. And I know we already have a charge-up move with Liquid Cannon, but why not make a physical charge-up move? Meditative Strike is a Psychic-type move that takes a turn to charge, taking the first turn to meditate and gather your thoughts, and then releasing a devastating blow on your next turn. Swalot is a stomach. Apparently, it's all about eating, so yeah. Also, Swalot. Swallow-lot. Yeah. There's also an entire category of moves called consumable items, like berries, seeds, etc. So why not make it this move all about, eating them? So Gulp is a poison-type status move that makes the user consume their held item, so long as it is a consumable item. It fails if it isn't. The user will regain a quarter of their max HP, as well as the item's original purpose. I would imagine this would be really good with something like a citrus berry, but at the same time, Swalot is just not a good Pokemon, so I don't know if this is enough to save them. Huntail is based on the moray eel. If moray eels are known for one thing, it's their incredible bite, not letting go of prey until it's dead. So why not reflect that in the new move? Tearing Bite. It's a dark type wrap move, meaning it does a little bit of damage over time plus the initial attack. However, what sets it apart from other wrap moves like Wrap and Infestation is the original attack isn't painfully weak. The counterpart for Huntail, Gorbis, might actually be more gruesome. Multiple of Gorbis' dex entries mention that it uses its super thin mouth to stab prey and drain out their vital fluids. Gross. So a move like Drainage could work, dealing damage and healing the user for 1/8 of the dealt damage, kind of like a water-type Leech Life. Absol is a fan-favorite Pokemon, mostly because of its design and super interesting origins. It is a dark type, yes, which are usually known for being either incredibly cruel or simply harness the power of the dark. But Absol is neither. Once thought to be the bringer of disasters, it is now known that it actually comes to warn humans of oncoming threats. A move that would fit this description is Warning Howl, a status move that warns the ally of an oncoming attack, allowing them to dodge it. It's similar to Protect, except the user's ally doesn't have to waste a turn using Protect and can do another move while also staying safe. Bayonet is, in my opinion, the definition of a Ghost-type Pokemon, even more than Gengar. It is an Objectmon, and most Objectmon are Ghost-type, but it's also creepy-looking and has some pretty disturbing lore. So for a pretty generic Haunted Doll Pokemon, I'll give it a pretty generic ghosty power as its ability. Haunt is a 60 base power ghost type move that deals double damage if the user goes last. Relicanth is based on an animal called the coelacanth, a fish that is often called a living fossil since it was alive during the dinosaur age and yet many is still alive today, living in deep sea caves. Because of this, I decided to give it a move called Hibernate. Yes, it technically didn't hibernate, but it's close enough. The user raises their defense and special defense by 3 stages, then goes to sleep for 2 turns, similarly to what Rest does. Aggron is known for its incredible defense stat, especially in its Mega form. Can't outstall the Wall still lives in my head rent-free, so I decided to go with the easy route and just give it a Steel-type Body Press. Gardevoir, no, don't say it. Don't you say a thing. Gardevoir's whole deal is reading emotions, so why not use that to our advantage? Guardy's move, Manipulate, has Gardevoir manipulate the emotions of the target, confusing them and lowering their accuracy. Good luck landing a hit after this. Metagross is one of the coolest pseudo-legendary Pokemon there is. Its arms also remind me of a lot of a hydraulic press, for some reason. And it is made out of metal, so what the heck, why not? Crushing Press is a 75 power Steel-type move that does 1.5 times damage if it goes second. Hydraulic Presses are slow yet powerful, after all. And finally, for the Regis, I would like to give them all the same signature move, or at least something similar, but Regieleki and Regidrago's signature moves are very different, so these will be 2. Regirock gets Stone Arm, a 100 power rock-type physical move with a high chance to confuse the target. It's like getting bonked on the head with a rock, you're gonna feel a little woozy afterward. Regiseal gets Iron Assault, a Steel-type status move that does nothing at first, but if you try to escape, they are unable to, take massive damage and are confused. Like Regiseal is waiting for them to escape, to strike. Finally, Regice gets Frozen Steam, a regular Ice-type special move, just doing damage, but if used on a Fire-type, gets rid of their Fire-type, like it snuffed out the flame. If they have another type, it becomes that one type. But if used on a pure fire type, they become typeless. Now, I'm kind of in a time crunch to get this video out, so for the rest of them, enjoy this short montage of the remaining Pokemon. And that's it for today. Sorry, no video last week. I got really busy. But hopefully I'll get back on a schedule. But with that being said, see ya, and stay safe.